Good evening. This is your really big ass Hertz News Network with your host, Sergeant Friday, coming live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square. Sarge, how you doing?
Yes, thank you for the introduction. And tonight I'm actually talking to you from the Lig of My Balls Convention Center. It's a bit sweaty down here, Cletus, but we will somehow endure.
Yeah. Well, a little swelter and humidity never bothered anybody.
I suppose not. Maybe not. So how are we doing on the Sebastian case before we jump into the Idaho?
Oh, the fucking circus tent is fully erect.
The erection of a circus tent that can never encompass the size, the sheer ginormous Cock Tower.
No, it can't. It cannot overshadow that thing. So
No. Oh, look, we have the one and only Queen of Moderation present tonight, and also the woman in charge of our help desk, a Clue Minotti, which is not to be mistaken as a first and last name, although it would be a cool name, Clue Minotti.
yeah, maybe I should change my last name to Minotti, and then she would go on and set a date.
Cletus Minotti.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs a talking to, is what she needs. But But who am I to give marital advice? My marriage failed. In all fairness, it failed.
Well, judging from the fact that you told a judge that stomach acid is a natural birth control, I'm not surprised.
Stomach acid prevents pregnancy. It's a well-known fucking fact. I mean, I didn't even have to go to school to realize that. You just seen the look on that guy's face. Imagine back in the day if we had cameras. I'd have been a YouTube sensation.
I'm just sitting here because we were just talking about the Idaho thing. I'm just sitting here imagining what Judge would have, what the look on his face would have been.
If I'd have said that in his courtroom?
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been panic, and then he would have started beating the desk with his gavel. And that's what my judge did. And then how about when I was in divorce court? And I said, well, maybe if I come back with a set of titties, you'll give me more consideration. You should have seen the look on the judge's face. My lawyer shooing me. I said, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. And the judge said, you're going to remove your attorney? I said, absolutely. Get rid of this bum. I'll finish this myself. It couldn't have got any worse using attorneys. That was the worst thing I did. The worst experience I had was a divorce with attorneys. I should have done that alone. But it is what it is, Cletus. And maybe tonight, I think people got a view of Anne that they've expected sooner. But I don't think she was really in a position to project it sooner. And when she did try, she kind of got slapped down. And so there's always a time and a place to be a bully, as Clue Minotti could testify. And I think TikTok is labeled as a bully. Cletus?
Yeah, I think she's she was awarded her crown today.
She and of course, it's why we call her the Queen of Moderation over here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, these mods can be bullies. I mean, we've seen it firsthand. So
we've seen pigs fly, and it's just
pigs fly. Anything's possible.
We live in that era.
It's a great new day, Sarge. It's a great new day.
I wouldn't be a bully if the world wasn't so soft. Just saying. Well, listen, I could be considered a bully, I guess. I'm I'm probably a lot less vulgar with my language, although, I don't know. It's probably safe to assume Clue Minotti was in the Navy. Is that a safe assumption there, Cletus?
Negative.
Nothing to do with that.
I don't think the Navy would have her.
Was she part of the Ocean Blue? Any fleet like a tuna? Something.
No. She said she swam with Shamu once. So there you go.
Well, I'll tell you what. You put her and Willie in the same pond, and we're gonna have a problem.
Her and Willie?
What did she say?
She said that's true.
I think poor Willie will want to be free in that adventure. But anyway, Cletus, so we have some interesting information. There's new videos, there's new hearings out on the Coburger case. And I think that maybe the people should start bombarding the court with emails or letters, and not bad ones, but just saying the court may be able to contain certain pieces of evidence, or agree with that, like Anna's agreeing with it, but they shouldn't be able to seal the hearings where that evidence been asked for 15 times. We want to know, why is it taking 15 times or 5 times, or what's the issue here? And that hearing should be public, because we have the right to know what our government is doing. This person, Bill Thompson, is effectively your representative. He's the government representative. It's we the people versus Brian Coburger. And we the people. That's why you have a right to this information. Now, you may not have the right to a witness's name, and I don't object to that. And although 5.62 billion of you fuckers probably would, but the other 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, like is in this room or in our chat room, right? There's, I think we're up to a big number tonight. I think we're cranking out at 33 people. At least understand the significance of witnesses being kept private. But the reason for you to deny turning over this information should not be private.
Well, the thing I don't understand at all is, at the end of the day, making these hearings public, it really shouldn't. I can think of no reason that what they're discussing should even be something that the prosecution has any remote objection to whatsoever. I don't understand, because that to me makes them look suspicious. And I think, as far as Ann going on the attack, I'm kind of left looking at it as she was waiting for Bill to show his weakness, waiting to push the right button, and I think she did it. And now I think she's just going to keep taking shots until he crumbles.
Latest way of breaking news and update on the man that imitated an alien to anal probe 79 people.
Uh-oh.
And from what this newscaster has been able to determine, that was probably fake news, but very good fake news. As a matter of fact, better than the news that they use to impugn people that have no right to be impugned. Right? That was probably a more accurate assessment of entertainment news, which is what people should be entertained by, not attacking Chris and people with this or that and claiming abortions and rape and murder. And yeah. Anyway, back to you, Cletus.
I have no idea where that came from. So back to you, Sarge. You fucking derailed the conversation there with that.
Yeah. Well, I saw it in the chat room. I had to jump on it before I forget, because my memory is short.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying. It's interesting that the state doesn't want to show their work, or the state will not. You have to be accountable for 15 motions on something, right?
Yeah, I mean, the bullshit argument of it is, well, we want to ensure a fair trial. And I heard that, and I'm like, well, now wait a minute. You want to ensure a speedy trial, you want to ensure a fair trial, you want to ensure all these fucking things, but every action you take basically shows that you really give not a damn about any of it. You just want it over. That's what you truly want. Is it over?
That's an amazing point. That's what our government does every day. They don't want a war in Ukraine, but then they send 61 billion more. They don't want Brian Coburger's rights to be violated, yet they sit here and violate them right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the nature of the issue. We have people that are supposed to represent us, not fucking dictate to us. And the rules can't apply to thee and not me. That's why it's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And that's why I suggest we all could make a difference if we sent common, simple, pleasant letters that we think Ann Taylor is standing on solid ground. The reason the state and our government that represents us is delaying this information to the defendant, we should know why the government is doing that. Or somebody else come up with some sensible thing to send, and we could send letters to the judge, because as I pointed out, or try to point out all the time, we're capable of more than we even give ourselves credit for. Look at the amount of bullshit we could deal with and create and make out of thin air. And holy fuck.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how hard would it be for these people with this bullshit that they can, and it's constant. It's almost every single channel. and people just keep flocking to it. It's like, I don't even know, man. It's almost like horseshit is becoming a meal, and these people just can't get enough horseshit.
Yeah, it's like the shitty musketeers or mouseketeers.
Well, maybe it did start with that guy carrying a mouse around that he shat on and stuck a stick in and sniffed all day. Maybe it does go all the way back to the mouse, the shit sniffing, mouse killing, stick driving individual. It's a hard one to say, Cletus.
It's a lot of
the Irish midget, that was another classic one. I do like the guy though. I think that's creative that he convinced 79 people he was an alien so he can anal probe them. That's just brilliant.
You know what's really sad? What's truly sad is I had zero doubt that it was real.
I have zero doubt that it was real myself, to be honest.
That's how like we're at a stage where that just outrageous bullshit sounds completely plausible in today's society.
Right. 79 people.
If Bill Thompson can drag a trial out that he said he was ready for in October of 23, if he can drag it out, just the discovery portion and say, oh, well, we just don't have it yet for, another 6 to 18 months, then sure, why couldn't a guy dress up as an alien and convince 79 people?
Here's what's interesting here in this particular presentation. What I found interesting is her description of the video and the audio that has not been given to them in its entirety. And that the pieces that they've got don't make sense, right? Because there's pieces it's missing. But here's the point. This is the video they're talking about from Linda Lane, Queen Road, or not Linda Lane. I'm sorry, Queen Road, but may include the video of the car up in the parking lot. That's what she's referring to. That thud took place 50 feet from the house. When she's talking about sound and video, she's referring to the video, I believe, that was shot from 1112 King Road. That they don't have the whole video. They got pieces of it.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of where exactly it was coming from, I think the main thing is that they don't have it in its entirety. Correct. Like that's ultimately the issue, no matter where it was shot from. The fact that it's not complete, it's obviously been altered to some degree, is an issue. Because I mean, if they were mixing the audio with the video, which I think Bill had said in some hearing, did he not? That they were working on combining.
He absolutely did.
Then I mean, all day she's got a huge argument for that, because you want footage in its raw, unaltered form, right? So why is it okay for the prosecution to edit this? So I think it's a great argument.
Anytime, and I said that too, and I'm sure it's not accepted by courts, but if you have to magnify the sample and then run it through a process of statistical analysis, in my opinion, that sample shouldn't be eligible for any proceeding in a court because of the statistical analysis. And even if there is 1% chance you're wrong, then that's all you need, right?
Right.
So I think this is why they keep saying they're not bringing the IGG in. Because you'll see a whole bunch of mistakes in that process and how they came to what they came to. And the fact that his DNA matches, I would fight that too. It's a whole different story. But in accordance with this particular hearing, these videos and the sound, what I'm pointing to is that if they are altered at all or changed, then how is that evidence even allowed in court? And I think when she said today she's going to have motions to suppress, I've been saying that for a while. Not only motions to suppress, she's going to eventually provide, and I don't think too long from now, a motion to dismiss.
Yeah.
Because the state has done such a very bad job in legal work. Now, in propaganda, they've convinced half of the 5.62 billion fucking asshats out here that this guy is guilty. And look at all 5.62 billion of you fucking morons. It's not you to decide innocent or guilty. Your only thing you should look at as a spectator is whether your government has caught the right man and whether the government's actions will result in the proper adjudication of this case. Not whether Brian fucking did it or not. That isn't for us to answer. You're supposed to be, as a citizen, observant of your government's actions against a fellow citizen. If the evidence shows this guy's a murderer, then you have your result of guilt or innocence. But for us as the public to be observing this, our concern should be completely with what our government representatives are doing on our behalf to solve a horrific crime where 4 kids lost their lives violently, right? That whoever did that needs to be held to account. And if our government says it was Coburger, then all the work that it takes to show that he is beyond a reasonable doubt is what we should be looking at, not this argument over guilt or innocence. Do you follow me?
I do. 100%.
I
Because
don't
at
know
the
what
end,
the fuck this
like,
guy did.
yeah, I mean, like we've said before, at the end of the day, 99% of the population this does not directly impact, but the outcome and the precedents that it reinforces absolutely do.
Our
So,
job as citizens is the process. And we're supposed to hold our government accountable in the process. Because that's what the Constitution's doing, folks, is it's outlining your government's limits. And what judge is supposed to do is make sure the government never crosses any of those limits. That's all a judge is there for. And so what we're supposed to keep an eye on isn't trying to determine who committed the fucking crime, isn't trying to determine if this guy is guilty. Our focus as citizens to a republic for which it fucking stands is to pay attention to our representatives doing their job properly and getting results that are good for the public, for the general public. Fair enough?
yes, sir.
If it's warranted, execute the guy. If your job results in a man that we think maybe should be executed, but your handling of the case causes it to be dismissed, we need to be aware of that. We need to pay attention to that through the whole process, not just wake up one Monday morning and be shocked and then move on to another case, which is what people do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, it doesn't even have to come down to a trial, right? The court of public opinion does this whether there's whether there's somebody that's legally accused or charged or not, right? We roll through this. We we jump on the background and the characteristics of the labeled villain instead of looking at what we're doing to each other. Just like we're not the vast majority of people aren't looking at the Coburger case as to what we're doing to each other or what we're setting ourselves up for long term by looking at guilt or innocence. And it's a shame because we're wasting a lot of time worrying and arguing over whether he did it or didn't do it when we ought to be looking at, did the court do their job or not? Did the police department do their job or not?
Right. Right. And see what's happened is, and this happens in politics, even well, no, equally to this bullshit. I'm a true crime creator. The only crime you're fucking creating is the crime of tragedy within tragedy. That's the fucking crime these people are committing out here. It's absolutely fucking insane. What we're supposed to be looking at, to be very honest with you, is pretty fucking boring. Okay? Don't they teach that? What do they call that? A civics? This is a lesson in civics when you watch these proceedings. That's what you're supposed to be paying attention to. Not whether the guy's a fucking incel, not whether his hair is cut crooked or his fucking lawyer skirt's too short or cracker claws his beard makes him look like Santa, although some of those things are fair game, when you're an asshole like me. But the point is the process that he's being put through. This guy's been in jail for 1.5 years, Cletus, right?
Yeah. And what's funny is, one of the big topics in the world today is bullying, right?
Bully.
But every time there's a case, or even in politics, there's always somebody that's getting the shit kicked out of them by the public at all times. And it's like, yeah, everybody wants to preach, well, don't bully. You can't say this because that's bullying. You can't say that because that's bullying. But you let somebody be labeled a villain and watch what the fuck happens.
And this is the point. Maybe this can be fucking memorialized somewhere in the sky. What the mainstream media does to its opponents or to those people that it wants to go after is exactly what all you fucks out here have turned yourselves into. Every fucking one of you that think you're creative thinkers and you think outside of the box and you don't watch the media, you fucking behave just like them. Exactly like them. I mean, how is it people can't... Motherfuckers out here can see reflections in asphalt, but they can't look in a mirror and accept what they are and what they're doing. You're coming out here And you're going after shit that has nothing to do with shit except shit. The same thing the media does that you claim you won't go watch because they're all about shit. And then you come here and produce the shit that the media produces. It's fucking insane. So insane I can't even wrap my head around it. But does that make sense?
It does. 100% makes sense.
I mean, I got 5.62 billion fucking targets. You can't call me a bully. I'm outnumbered.
Just
Right?
because
I
you
feel like I'm
stand
being
on
bullied by ignorance, bro. Ignorance is like overwhelming me. Can't that be considered a way to bully somebody?
just because you go live from the tip of the giant cock tower doesn't doesn't make you overpowering to the 5.62 billion. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I may be high atop you. You may down looking at the big Oligama Balls Convention Center and looking up to them, but I'm even if I'm at the tip of Cock Tower, I'm still vastly outnumbered.
Well, keep hanging around, Clue. You'll maybe she'll show you some tips of the trade to becoming a bully.
Well, you know, you look at Terry Lynn and you look at all of these other people, and they're looking to exploit people. These sick. Listen, I would spooge in her face, but that's probably about it. That's all she'd get from me, because all she wants to do is exploit people. All JLR wants to do is exploit people. These are tragedies, folks, where a boy is gone, where kids are dead, they're murdered with a knife, and you guys are allowing creators to exploit. Well, this guy may have done it. This guy did it on his phone. Look at this guy from the grub truck. Look. And you folks buy into this shit and run around engaging it, and you're convinced that you're creative thinkers. I'm sorry, Cletus.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. It's madness. I think probably the closest to feeling batshit crazy I think I've been since getting involved in true crime was when I could swear that was Brian standing in that standing at the grub truck staring at the camera. I was fucking convinced when they arrested him that was that guy. but
Everybody's entitled to mistakes. Listen,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
fair to have a mistake, right? But did you go create a 3-part fucking series on Brian Coburger's presence and look, he's looking at her. Oh my God, he picked his nose. You didn't do that. You saw something, you made a conclusion, and then you realized later it was inaccurate, and you were laughing at yourself.
Well, I
But you moved on.
Say it was inaccurate or proven wrong. I'm just relenting until the proof comes out.
Right.
But I'm not implying that makes him working in collusion with Jack Showalter or anything like that, right? I just thought that's who it was standing in that camera.
Right.
Yeah.
I still can't get that central thing out of my head, but I can't even remember the word.
Scrutinizer.
Yeah. Yeah, you're let me be the central scrutinizer for 5.62 of you fucks. Okay? Someone claiming they hear a manhole cover should be shot down and humiliated and chased off the internet. They provide no benefit to anybody unless you think horrific murders should have a side gig of entertainment. Please?
Yeah. Not every case needs to be a Hollywood movie. Especially before it's all figured out.
And how the hell can you go after the parents of a missing fucking child, accusing them and attacking them and following them and calling them names and digging into their past and victimizing the shit out of them and act like you're doing something good for the boy that went missing? What the fuck goes to Cletus? Listen, I'll confess right now. If you heard what I just said, I have to be the craziest fuck ever created. Fair or am I right? It's either I'm fucking completely nuts and you lunatics are sane, or you're all lunatics and I'm sane by pointing out. You don't make tragedy within a fucking tragedy for your own entertainment. Cletus?
I would agree completely.
Well, am I nuts? Do I need therapy? Is there something wrong with me for seeing it that way?
No, I just think you need to continue to stand at the tip of the cock tower and scream.
I need to get that guy's finger from Seinfeld.
Eventually, the zombie horde will congregate from the noise, and you may perform a few.
Listen, I think many of the people that come in here get it. Okay, they know I'm not I'm not hitting them up. Some of them came in here, didn't get or even realize what the hell this was going to be when we started this stream. I don't
Yeah.
think many people realized that this stream was going to be about us, we the fucking people, the morons that we all have become, the jackasses, and the evil that comes out of us on the fucking internet that does real harm to people. That same group of people can be the fucking best, the biggest power for good the world has ever seen, and you fucks are just throwing it away. Cletus?
Yeah. All in the name of entertainment.
Fucking entertainment, clicks. Give me a couple dollars. I don't even know how many fucking people you got to get before you earn $1 from YouTube. It's got to be. It can't be just a few. It's got to be a number of significance, right?
It's a fucking lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's thousands of people, right? Or
Yeah.
hundreds of people. It's something big, right? And
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, people look at JLR, and I know people look at JLR and they go, "Oh wow, I aspire to have that kind of a sub count or that kind of a following." And it's like at the end of the day, he probably he probably makes less money than a mid-level manager in corporate America. That's just the reality of it. I mean, it's and for what's the cost, right? What did he sell to get that? And at the end of the day, I would say if he ever had a soul, then that's absolutely what he sold, because he gives not a fuck about anybody or anything except making sure that people are entertained.
right. And all of these followers, look at folks. I understand monkey see, monkey do. I got 5.62 billion fucking proofs of it. Monkey see, monkey do. I was never involved with social media until I created a political stream on YouTube. And I was in politics on Twitter. And I had 21 accounts banned 21 times for many different reasons. Sometimes because I didn't give a fuck and I would say that. But more than 28,000 clickers, followers, whatever you call them over there. And I got involved for those reasons. But I come to YouTube and the work pool for streaming is the lunatics that follow the crazies that are already there. It's fucking insane, bro.
Well, and something about social media and the platforms and things like that that I find interesting is the fact that today Clue got got banned for harassment on TikTok, but YouTube is like, fuck yeah, bring it. I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, now what exactly does that say about the state of things? Let me see. It's
But
just, it's funny.
I want to just respond to Megan. Megan, look, you know, you don't really need organization. People fall into cliques and they fall into groups. Okay. And sometimes a lot of the people that are actually clicking on these streams, they're not buying what's being sold, but they're just passing time. If those same people were told by people like you and the 499, we're waiting for our 500th follower, Cletus. We're almost there.
Oh, hell.
But if those 500 people start directing traffic, like, I'm sorry, but can you show us the fact before you tell us your story? Or that's going a bit too far. Why are we going after the parents? Why are we trying to solve crimes from our cell phone? And while doing that, we're impugning all these people's fucking lives. We're making them all look like murderers or not murder. It's crazy what we're doing. But if
Well,
as a group we start pointing that out in different channels, the following will grow itself.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Organization leads ultimately to it opens things up to corruption, and at the end of the day, the whole point of organization is conviction, right? People get convicted in their minds about something,
Right.
and then they strive to organize something, and ultimately, that always leads to a corrupt environment. At the end of the day, be firm in your convictions and stand by your convictions, and
Right.
you'll make the change that you want to make.
Listen, in your mind, you could have Chris Proudfoot doing everything that you could ever dream of that resulted in the disappearance of Sebastian. That I don't object to that at all. But I do object to these things being stated publicly and people jumping on board to impugn the man. We don't know if any of those parents are involved in the missing Sebastian. We just don't know. And so what right do we have if we're civilized? I mean, this is like the witch hunts from the 1600s. It literally is. The entire social media sphere needs to find and victimize somebody. And it's almost as if, and here, all I'm pointing out is, can't we just do the opposite? It's not that hard, right? If you're walking up a hill, you just turn around and go downhill, right?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not asking for people to do anything different than they're doing. Just take it on. Put your morals out in the fucking public. Put your fairness and your decency and your patience out when you're looking at this kind of stuff. And the same should apply to politics. Extend that fairness and the decency and the respect to people you disagree with, the people that look different than you because they got purple hair and whatever. Start out from that position and see how things go. And we don't even give that a chance. We don't even try. It's fucked up.
It's funny how every arena you want to talk about, politics, true crime, or court cases or missing kids, right? The concept of media is all the same. Nobody focuses on the current things, current actions, current activities that are ongoing with it. They're all focused on the past. Politicians, they want to fucking talk about how many times Trump smacked somebody on the ass or whatever the fuck 20 years ago. Brian Coburger, they want to talk about he stole his sister's phone when he was 16. Chris Proudfoot, they want to, some asshole comes on a panel and says he's his cousin and he shit on a mouse when he was a child. Like, who fucking cares, right? None of that shit is relevant to the current state of things. And it's like, if we would pay attention to the current state of things, we would see the problems that exist in the real world right now and be able to address them instead of being worried about what the fuck they did 20, 30 years ago.
Right. I do have. We have breaking news. It's been shared with this reporter. I guess I'm a reporter. That changing direction can have consequences if you do it too fast. So bear with me. So listen, folks, I know we can't do this immediately, and I'm not asking people to do it immediately, but I do expect us to turn around. I do expect us as a group to come up with ideas that are going to help, not hurt. I don't know. Is that playing on YouTube? Did it go through YouTube, that picture?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Yes, let me take down any statement, hide the comment so people can see the full effect of it. Right? What happens when so listen, I do respect the fact that 5.62 billion, if you can't turn that quickly. But if even 100 of us start the fucking process, believe me, people really honestly do want to be cool and fair with people for the most part. Now, there are a lot of bitter people out there that get involved in YouTube and become moderators or something and think that the only thing that matters in life is causing ruckus and chaos among people that during their normal interactions wouldn't have ruckus and chaos. Cletus?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's you can only pretend that pigs can fly.
Right.
During war or peace.
Yep, and I see YouTube does show that clearly. I wonder if Twitter does. Probably not. I don't know, Cletus, but that's a funny picture for what it's worth.
That's a fucking, that's a distraction and a half.
Look, folks, I do want us to change, and I do want us to, completely change direction. But again, I have respect for my fellow humanity, and turning too quick could be heirs of this. It looks it's just a fuck. And the woman looks mad. I'd be mad too.
At a minimum, I would say, judging from that, it can at least create confusion, right?
Oh dear God, I'm just.
But it can be funny at the same time.
Oh, that's too crazy. Oh, so where I don't even know where the hell we work with it, but it's here's the thing too, and this is kind of irritating for people that come into this ring. Repetition is really the way to get people to follow along with anything. That's why companies keep pumping commercials all the time. Okay, the repetition, you get accustomed to a name or a product or a service. That's the whole point of how people get taught things, or actually even brainwashed for the most part. So some of the things we say on the show you may have heard before, and you may be prepared. You may hear them, to the end of time, if we can live that long, please.
Well, or until 5.619 billion
Right.
get convicted in something other than bullshit.
And start acting together as a force for good and change, right? Because
Well, and
I
I won't even say acting together, right? I mean, the acting together, the organization will happen organically if people just say, as a collective group, all adopt the mindset and the conviction that we're just not going to fucking do it. We're just not going to put up with it.
Right. And we need to point it out to our fellow, not just the streamers, but the audience themselves, to each other, because
Right.
it is the audience that drives the fucking end product. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of successful products out there, and entertainment is one of them. And I just think entertainment, it is not entertaining to stare at your phone and decide if you're seeing a picture of a dead girl that come from a picture of a phone. Fair enough.
That's fair.
Right. Or somebody posting pictures of Chris fighting. You listen, for them to even mention any one of the parents in that video that who played that, Jay is for Justice and others.
Yeah.
For anyone to suggest that shows anything other than fucking nothing, for anyone to put that forward, is because you motherfuckers will watch it. Right?
That's right.
Right? Now, you can watch it and say this person's sick in the head, but just engaging it, clicking on it, pays that sick in the head person more money. It should be the viewer that says, nah, this ain't gonna happen. Take that down. We don't want to hear this. This isn't fair. This isn't right. We don't know. And until we know, we shouldn't say anything about anybody. Enough people start speaking like that in streams. And I know some of the people in here have already done that on other channels, right? Didn't one of them get banned?
Oh, I hear daily, and
Right.
yeah, that people are getting banned for going into other streams and speaking their opinion, and if it doesn't go along with the herd, then they get booted. But hey, that's one less viewer that stream's gonna get.
Right. So somebody's actually given a name to the change people are going to be part of, and I have to concur. It's up on the screen.
Operation Hot Tower.
Everybody loves D.
That's great.
Oh man. It's I don't know. This show may never have. I think it will over time. We've only been on a few weeks, and it's all organic, basically. Some people know who we are and what we're doing, but for the most part, no. Most of the people in true crime don't know we exist, but they will.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the way it always starts, right? Nobody knows you exist until it catches on, and a lot of that is people can't talk about other channels in most other channel streams,
right?
Which is funny because I don't know how many fucking times we mention them.
Yeah, we don't have any problem mentioning them at all. They need to be front and center because they're the ones that can also direct their audience in a new direction as well. I mean, they have also the power to bring the audience to places the audience hasn't been. Right?
That's right.
So even these people that I'm pointing out, it's not that they're like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Sarge can redeem them. What do you think, Lee?
Some are just rabid fucking dogs, and I mean, there's no cure for rabies. So I'm just saying, some are better just left alone.
That's definitely true. I was just being a smartass by saying I could redeem them. I don't think I can, but some of them maybe, and actually, it's them that could actually. People said you need organization. If enough people start pointing this stuff out, I think you and I can walk away, because if it catches on and streamers start going along with this understanding that we're here to, review the civics of these things, not the guy's great grandfather, right?
Yeah.
I think if it starts switching to that, and other streamers pick that up, it'll alleviate any need for you or I to be part of it. That's what I said before. I don't believe myself to be an ultimate leader of anything other than telling you 5.62 billion fucking people you're morons. Cletus?
Yeah. And as far as the power to, exact change or reform some of these people, I guess I should relent and say don't ever underestimate the power of the cock tower.
The D is gonna get you. There's some of those fucking presenters need the D based on that bully's observations.
Oh.
Do we have any news from the help desk tonight? Any anti-bullying information that would benefit the viewers?
More to come, Sarge. More to come.
The queen of moderation is silent. Is she eating again? What is she doing? Is she on Dago's show? What the hell is she doing?
What the fuck?
She taking a shit? What's going on over there?
I think she's participating in side discussion.
Oh, she's having a side discussion. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't give my consent for that. She's the super moderator over here. The queen super moderator from Narobia.
So you got to remove dissenting opinions to what was that comment on the screen?
Well, to create a narrative. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to remove dissenting opinions to curate a narrative. I'm sorry.
Well, I would agree with that, but only if you're weak-minded and you're not convicted in your ways or your thoughts, right? Because what you should do is seek those competing opinions out. That's, I mean, true. At the end of the day, if you seek out a competing opinion and you have a discussion with a reasonable person, the only possible outcome is growth.
Right. And I guess some of the stuff that I've shared on here since we've been here for a few weeks are things that you and I talked about over the course of months, right? Since we've known each other.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to me that we've actually, I think here's the funny thing. I think universally, if people were to just listen to this show, I bet you massive amounts of people would agree with the observations. Maybe not how they're delivered, maybe not you or me, but that's not what this is about. It's about the point being made. You're all fucked up. You all are fucked up, and you all can fix it. Cletus?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know that it's necessarily about the number of viewers per stream, but about the impact of the message and the spread of the message, right?
Right. And I personally don't care if we ever hit 500, to be very honest with you, because there's enough people in here and enough people seeing these things to realize what we're trying to point out. We're not asking you for your money or for fame or for anything like that. We're just asking you to approach this from a way that includes using your fucking brain and not your emotional fucking entertainment side of your brain, but your analytical powers. I mean, we all have them to one degree or another. And so you not allow other people to take us down these gravy trains that Ethan's being pissed on by 3 different men, seen on a reflection from a parking lot's asphalt. Cletus, it's mind numbing.
Yeah. Or painting one parent out of 3 to be a saint when at the end of the day nobody really knows any of them. You know what I mean? Like it's mind-boggling to me how we form a quick opinion about somebody and we just chase that shit instead of objectively looking at facts. If we're going to look at anything at all related to something, just looking at the facts and going with that.
And there's room for disagreement in what you interpret those facts in, which is the whole reason why. I mean, this is the key, folks, to knowledge. Is that a differing opinion over a discussion of facts will one day reveal what's right or wrong. And that's how we move forward. That's how man has gone from fucking chasing animals to corralling animals to everything we do today. It all starts with people a realization somewhere along the way, because church and all of the religion was such a big part of what ran the world and everything was focused on believing. We still suffer from that in an area of information that belief is the enemy. To believe Coburger or Chris did anything is your enemy. You no longer have the ability to be objective and look at the facts. And that's what true crime should be focused on.
breaking news.
Uh-oh, here comes the help desk. I want to introduce to everyone. Can I, you want me to play the music?
Yeah.
Okay, bear with me. We have breaking news from the help desk. Cluminati?
The Yeah News Network has just hit 500 subscribers.
That is celebration. Celebrate. I don't know how. I have no celebration music. I think some people may have heard this.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
If you come to this stream and that's what you hear, you need to hit your head against the wall as hard as you can.
What, my singing or your sound bite?
The whole stream.
500 subs. Well,
that's amazing. It says $4.99 on mine. I'm refreshing as we speak to witness this with my own eyes.
The Leg of My Balls Convention Center is swelling.
People just nasty in here. Oh, that's just awesome. Well, thank you, whoever the 500th was.
And to the other 499.
Right. But the 500 hit a milestone, so we have to give a little extra credit to the milestones, to the trend center.
It was Michelle's son.
Michelle's son.
Thank you, Michelle's son. Or not the sun in the sky, right? Is a relation to her, that kind of a son?
I believe so.
Okay, very good. Well, Cletus, we still got about 15 minutes left. What do you got for us? And you can't hang up. It's too early to do that shit. So let's not play.
I got a funny story. How about that?
That we want fun.
Talking about belief and religion reminded me. I used to sell 55-gallon plastic barrels that people would use for water barrels, right, for rainwater. And I had a guy pull up one time in this Ford Festiva. Those little bitty turd-sized Ford cars that they made back in the late 90s, I guess it was. And he had a 16-foot trailer towing. He was towing behind that car, and he pulls.
The car is 12 feet long.
The car is about 6 feet long, and the trailer's 16 feet long. Yeah.
Okay.
So he pulls in, and I said, well, how many do you want? And he was like, how many can you get on the trailer? And I'm like, all right, well, we'll load it up and see where we get to. And I always asked everybody, what are you using them for? And he said, I'm preparing. And I'm like, preparing for what? And he was like, for when Yellowstone goes up.
Oh, shit.
The first thing that went through my mind is you may want to upgrade your vehicle, and first and foremost. Because I'm pretty sure that fucking car is not going to outrun volcanic ash with that 16-foot trailer behind it.
No, I don't think it's going to outrun your dog.
But then he said, yeah, you never know what's going to... I forget how he came to this, but he said, I talk to God every day. He said, I see him every day, all day. And I said, is that right? He said, yeah. He said, I see him right now. And I said, okay. He said, yeah, he's right there. And he pointed up in the sky. And I said, where? He said, that big bright light. And he's like, hi, motherfucker. And I'm like, well, that explains it all. But, it was just a moment in time I'll never forget.
Does he have his own YouTube channel?
I would venture to guess by now he does.
It might be called the Fiesta in Me.
Well, I don't think he has the Fiesta anymore, because he was going to make a second trip, and he called me about 30 minutes after he left with the first load, and he said, I'm not coming back today. I got to find another car because I jackknifed the trailer.
Oh. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it takes all kinds of... I used to sit down by the boat launch and watch people launch their boats. And invariably, several times during this thing, you would see people put their boats in the water, but not put the plug in.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then their boat would start to sink, and they'd be all freaking out.
There's a channel that's dedicated to nothing but that shit, and he's always at one boat dock in Miami. and it's the greatest thing. He'll show people over and over backing boat trailers down into the water
Yeah.
and
Can't get him in. Yeah.
just fucking disastrous. And it's like
Oh.
you really wouldn't think it's rocket science to get something that floats naturally into the water and out of the water. But yeah, that it seems to elude a lot of people.
Well, the trailer, everything is opposite. Left is right, right is left, and so you get confused.
Yeah, but the amount of them that have trouble backing the trailer really isn't what the shock is. It's more just about operating the throttle and the the plugging all the holes in the craft.
I used to boat. I was big into boating for a long time, and that was the thing. There was a restaurant. You could watch these people launch their boats, and the shit show was them trying to back their trailer in to get their boat on it or back it in to launch it. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, we got 9 minutes here. What do we do for 9 minutes? Do we remind the 5.62 billion fucking morons that they're morons, or do we move on?
Well, all but 500 of them at this point.
Right. Well, the 5.62 is it's a rounded number, rounded down, just to be sure that I'm not saying it too big, but it's roughly 80% of the world.
Excuse me. I only find it fair that you add my subscribers too, because we are not morons.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yep. No.
So we've got almost an even 10,000.
So now we've got 10,000 people.
Look at that. Over the course of 30 seconds, we
broke a new record. We found more common sense people in the blink of an eye. And that's the other thing too, common sense. Jesus, everybody laughs. There's no such thing as common sense, and the people that are telling you that don't use common sense themselves.
Well, and that's really at the end of the day, the conviction that we speak of is just the application of common sense.
Right.
That's really all it boils down to. Is just use common sense.
Great Pearl would like for you guys to give your opinion on the shocking silence in the Sebastian developments.
Shocking silence by... If you could quickly share your thoughts on shocking silence in Sebastian developments. I mean, in my opinion, it says everything.
Wait a minute. Breaking news. We have a moderator trying to cause trouble. I'm sorry. Go back. Go ahead. Go
back. You got a moderator attacking the show host. Apparently, pigs fly everywhere.
Apparently, they fly everywhere, even on your ass hurts news network.
My opinion about the silence is, it's one of two things, right? At the end of the day, there's the amount of shit to sling. The bucket has run bare, or it's just gotten old. One of the two, and I'm thankful for it. And in all honesty, because it does nothing but distract from actually finding.
I can tell you a big reason why it's calming down or getting quiet. It's because these fucking sick motherfuckers out here are running. They got to get worse with their accusations and their fucking theories, right? But they're to a point where to go worse is almost, even in their eyes, too far. Do you follow what I mean?
Yeah, that, and I think their workhorse showed it lost a leg or two, so they're not.
They got a horse with no legs.
Yeah, it's getting to almost to no legs. So I think they're reluctant to use it now.
Did you tell them I bought a horse with no legs?
I have too. I think we've all bought a horse with no legs, and we're just not really akin to understanding what it means. Glue, what does your horse look like?
It's like short and black in color, and it's a fun ride.
Your horse with no legs is black, short in color, or black in color and short and has no legs. Well, that's a great horse.
So Gray Pearl said, "You know what I was asking him? Not talking mudslinging, I'm talking sighting."
Oh yeah, that I don't know. That's
I don't.
whatever.
I'm curious how that all pans out with this site, if that's real or not real, and if it's not real, and people don't start demanding that we hold each other to a higher standard, then you all need Jesus.
Well, and in terms of the silence about the sighting, I mean, to me, it's one of two things, right? It's that everybody's busy following up on it, or it's known that it's nothing, and there's nothing to talk about, so therefore there's silence about it. That's just the way I see it.
Wow. I think we have breaking information about horses with no legs. There's a new opportunity for you in Illuminati's bedroom. Cletus?
More to come, Sarge. More to come.
You nasty bastard. You guys are perverted over there, but it's okay with me. The host himself is quite the pervert.
I'd talk. How's your finger?
My finger is 95% recovered, although there is a deformation in it that I never noticed before. More on that later.
All right.
I might have been wrong about your asshole then.
What'd you do? You took your head out of your ass for a minute. What'd you say?
She said she may have been wrong about your asshole then.
Oh. Well, let's be clear. I am an asshole. There's no doubt about that. I think all people can agree on something, and that would be something safe to agree to. But I have no idea what else to tell you. What else do we got from the help desk? Anything?
What was the fact I said I should have shared with him the other day?
Oh, hell. I can't remember.
Oh, yes, I got it. So consuming pineapples in the form of the fresh fruit itself or just juice will make your vajayjay taste better, or for men, the liquid that.
Yes, I get it. I've been eating pineapples from Dole for a long time. I buy it by the case.
I don't
now,
think
is that if you consume it orally only?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Guys, not necessarily Dole, but
you can't. I don't stick a can of fucking pineapple up my butthole. Buttholio. No. But I've eaten pineapple for a long time.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
They did clear those pants super fast.
The pants?
Yeah.
Well, they probably picked them up and they were for a guy 8 feet tall or something.
Well, I just kind of feel like it was really fast. Like if the parents went in and identified them, right? No, that's not it. Wouldn't you still want to do like forensics? You know what I mean? And just because they're oversized doesn't mean that he wasn't wearing them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't think that's the case, but I do feel like to publicly
announce that
they're not his.
Yeah.
Because you guys haven't come out and said anything about that photo.
Right. Not just that, it's a reporter. JLR, listen, if JLR mentions to you that anything, take it with a grain of salt.
It was on the news.
It was an email that was shared between the sheriff.
Okay, so it's a document from the police.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's a reporter like Nick Barris.
No, it was
because they will say anything for attention.
Yeah, I've found at least 2 competitors to Nick Barry's station that have mentioned it, that it was in an email from the law enforcement. So, yeah.
Well, I can't help but see things through the lens of this is more propaganda, bullshit, distraction to create more hate. And these reporters are the first ones to do it. I mean, that video that Terry Lynn is playing, I think is the same video that they were using. Parts of that same video they used the first time that Nick Barris put out, correct? Isn't it just magnified the upper right hand corner?
Yeah, it's just with
these fucking filter on it. Yeah. So they took a debunked video and turned it into a crime scene based on Fight Club and Chris. I mean, what the fuck do people even go to a channel like that? That'd be like me teaching you how to bake cake, but I get you to slip poison in it, and you eat it anyway, and then people get hurt. I don't know, Cletus. I'm confused. I'm so baffled by the behavior of people. It's overwhelming.
Well, I mean, it's
And those were the last words we're going to get out of Cletus tonight, because tonight old Sergeant Friday got him back. The old hang-up trick never gets old. It's the best trick in the world. You do it to your friends and even to your coworkers and your boss. You just get to the end of a sentence and just hang up the fucking phone. You're fine. Or in the middle of their reply, which usually is probably the best thing. You get in the reply and something, it really doesn't matter what they say, so you just hang up on it. Cletus, you are such a nice guy. But it's a mutual thing, just so you know. He gets me, I get him. And it's always a race to see who gets who. I'd like to tell everybody thanks for coming in. Thanks for the 500th follower. It's I think it's Wanda's son. Yeah. So everybody be good, stay out of trouble. I'm gonna go take the car out, rip up the pavement a little bit, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9.